We've just cut our second piece of wood for our brace post at the other end. This is the final fence for our pasture 3. As you can see, it is lush and ready for some sheep to get on it, so we need to get this done because they've eaten pretty much everything in their other pasture.
Well, if you're raising sheep, pastures are definitely important. And this year, we are having an amazing pasture season already, knock on wood. As you can see behind me, the grass is above their shoulders. I don't even know if you can see them in the back there. But we just wanted to take a moment and sort of show what we've got going on here, and I guess reiterate the same old adage that building good pastures takes time, whether that's time to fence or time to build your soil and your plant species, etc. But I can still show you yet again, another year since we've been here, the difference that things are making. So for anybody who has followed along with us up to this point, we have basically multiple pastures set up, and it's all off of this central hub. So when we run the sheep back to the back pastures, these are not the pastures up by the barnyard, we can essentially move them out into different pastures and try to do a rotation. But this year we tried something a little bit different. We took our young ewes, so the non-bred ewes, and we put them into this pasture behind me, which is pasture 1. Pasture 1 is the pasture that has been a pasture, sort of under our management, the longest. And it definitely shows, but it's interesting because these sheep have been in here literally for a full month, and while they have eaten down some sections, there's a lot of food still here. So this pasture has really gotten kind of like a park-like look to it with the apple trees and whatnot, and this is several years of the sheep basically grazing this. But one thing that's really different is the species composition in the pasture grass. So this is pasture 2, which was the second pasture to be sort of dealt with, and it's very different. This has basically been allowed to grow all spring, and we're going to let this sit for probably another week or two until the younger lambs and the ewes come back. So one thing I think is quite interesting about this approach that we're taking is, as you've kind of heard from some of the shots, there's a lot of birds, there's a lot of insects, there's a lot of biomass. There's quite a lot of species in the actual pasture itself as far as plants go. And all of that matters, in my opinion, because yes, we're basically using this as sheep pasture and an apple orchard. So there's two sort of manufactured human products, benefits that we get, but it still benefits a lot of other things in the process. Well, and of course, the one thing, as I say, about time is everything takes time. And the fencing, like behind me, really is the biggest task for this pasture rotation business. And we're making progress because we did get this up, and actually we now have the ewes from last year, the dry ewes, in there, and they'll probably be good for another month at the rate of what's growing in this pasture. And beyond that, we have a huge expanse of pasture, which we used last year, and you can see the sort of improvement on the grasses and whatnot, but we don't have it fully fenced yet. So that is a 2024 priority, to get at least the perimeter around that so that we have our full 6 acres sort of back pasture or middle pasture fully fenced, which will make it a lot easier to run these sheep. Well, the one thing about this year and having things set up to the point that we do is everything just seems to be running a lot smoother. And I guess that's sort of a homesteading thing, or raising your own food, farming, whatever you want to call it. The more established you get, the more set up you get, the easier the day-to-day gets, and the less big projects such as fencing you've got to do. But while big projects may become fewer and further between as we go forward, there's always little stuff. And this would be one of the problems with hornless Icelandic sheep. Somebody's been eating through the fence, and somebody has basically loosened up the wire on this fence, and we will have to come back and repair this. But that can wait. And what are you two little ones doing? It's not a big deal because all they can do is slip into the channel. But some of the young lambs have figured out that they can fit through that red gate, and they're taking advantage of some of the greener grass on the other side of the fence. We've been caught.
We're gonna go past you.
Tight squeeze.
Figure it out. You got over there.